Hey everyone, it's Justin. Thank you for watching and welcome to my house. That's Justin's house. In this video, it's time for ServiceNow Store Highlights 03172023. That's right, it's the St. Patrick's Day edition of ServiceNow Store Highlights. I've got a not as intense one as our last episode, so this should be a little easier. I'm going to feel a little bit less rushed. But let's take a look at the summary info here at the top. We've got 40 total applications in this episode, and right now we're standing at, before we've gone through them, 5 new releases, 19 highlights that I want to share stuff with you, 2 applications with some compatibility updates to Utah specifically, 8 fixes, remember fixes are these minor little things, and 6 release notes fails. I'd love to have an episode where we don't have release notes fails, but let's go ahead and knock those out first. What were those release notes fails? These were things that didn't have sufficient release notes for me to show you or tell you what actually happened. So that was 1E CMDB Connect. You're going to see they have another product that got an update too that does have some details, so hopefully they just missed it on this one. Armor Point Finance Operations Service Delivery, GeoFluent Real-Time Translation for Chat. What does that say? Chat. Let's try hovering there. Chat and ampersand ticketing. iDefense Dynamic Vulnerability Risk Prioritization and Workspace Builder for App Engine. I'm going to go ahead and click on that one since it's ServiceNow. I don't mind picking on them. They're a pretty big guy. We'll go other app versions, and that's what I mean by release notes fail. I can't tell you what actually changed, but I know a lot of people are excited about this Workspace Builder for App Engine. So what changed, ServiceNow? What's new? What do we need to know? Why do we need to update? That's what I mean by release notes fails. Not trying to pick on anybody, but let's go to our next one, compatibility updates. Quality Management System, EQMS, and ServicePress, WordPress, and WooCommerce integration both had compatibility updates to support Utah. Let's take a look at the next one. I think it was not new releases, fixes. Yeah, fixes the next one I want to show. 1E Core, AI-powered search knowledge recommendations by Coveo, barcode and QR code generator, Anteros vendor risk management integration, Morpheus catalog, Qualys Core, Serenity Core, and Tenable for ITSM. These all had this little one-line fixes, or it said bug fixes in the release notes. So just like these little things, these little patches. So if you're using one of these, you may want to go take a look, see if you're interested in updating that one. Now, we'll get to the good stuff, new releases. Let's take a look at BigID Data Classification App. It is a new release in the last week since our last episode. What is this? Automate data discovery with native Now classification. I think that means ServiceNow classification. Powered by BigID. Key features: prodding native integration to enable BigID ServiceNow synchronization of classification fields via configuration directly in the BigID classification for ServiceNow app. Customers configure the ServiceNow classification plugin and define classification fields, classes/subclasses, which are then mapped with classification field names with customer-defined classification values. There's a lot of classifying going on here. Configuring BigID to discover these ServiceNow classification fields, followed by an on-demand and scheduled BigID scan of the data residing in defined ServiceNow tables. Oh, I know what this is. I'll explain it here in a second. And pushing the resulting classification of the scan tables back into ServiceNow's classification plugin, aligning and identifying the data classification fields originally defined within ServiceNow. So if you've watched my channel, I talk a little bit about information objects. That's what BigID is talking about. In their words, it's the type of data. How is it classified? Is it customer data? Is it employee data? Is it social data? Is it finance data? That's what they're talking about. So they're scanning things and actually providing classifications for them. Here is a picture of the menu for it. So you can see BigID data classification and some security things and setting up the configuration, the connection to BigID. Here's the data classifications that are an example: highly sensitive, limited access, and public. And then how the edit sensitivity classification, so you can come in here and edit that. And back to the original one where we configure. So new app there from BigID Data Classification. Let's see who's next. Fujitsu ESG Consulting Service. Move your environmental, social, and governance initiatives from aspiration to action. Functional features include secure ESG data collection, ESG management and reporting, integrates with various data sources, ESG goal and target setting, interactive dashboard for ease of use, and carbon accounting tool to measure scope 1, 2, and 3 emissions. Technical feature enterprise-wide environmental, social, and governance coverage, single data model architecture, outstanding GRC products, simple ESG data collection interfaces, and interface directly to project and portfolio management. I'm curious if this requires the ESG product from ServiceNow, because that's what the ESG product does, but I don't have any screenshots and no further details on dependencies or anything like that, but that is new from Fujitsu for the ESG Consulting Service from Fujitsu. Next up is going to be Nicus Core from Nicus Software. This is the core capabilities to support Nicus ITFM or IT Financial Management and TBM solution or Technology Business Management. Let's scroll down here to the key features: tables, taxonomy, and framework to enable Nicus ITFM products, and seamless integration with ServiceNow data. We do have some pictures on this one. Oh my goodness, look at that menu item there on the left-hand side. That is quite the menu of things to pull up from this application, but it's financial related, so I can imagine there's tons of ways to look at stuff related to finances. But that's a dashboard, so you're just seeing a dashboard there for that particular one. Let's see what the next picture is. The cost model overview dashboard. This is the bill of IT overview, application overview. So 3 dashboards is basically what they're showing. I'm sure there's a lot under the covers, $78 million, but that's what we got for that one. So that is Nicus Core from Nicus Software Incorporated. And the last 2 are related. We'll talk about them quickly. Service Operations Workspace Integrations Launchpad from this ServiceNow Innovation Lab. So warning that these are not supported by ServiceNow and do not carry any warranties. But let's take a look at what this is. This is a new and improved experience to view, configure, and manage all the available ITOM health integrations, event management, including event connectors, metric policies, and log data inputs. Key features: a consolidated view for those 3 things I just mentioned, simple and intuitive search and filter, streamlined event connectors configuration experience, and a designated view for all the configured integrations and their status. And of course, this requires event management in your instance. Let's take a look at the picture. There is how you get there. They're pointing to the little button there in the Service Operations Workspace, and then there you can search your data sources, your events, your metrics, your logs, and the most popular stuff there in the middle for sources for those events. So pretty nifty there. Here's a BU Connect demo, Business Unit Connect. I don't know what BU means. But they're pulling some alerts and showing the events here in the Service Operations Workspace. There's a connector, so they're showing the connector name, description, the IP address to connect to, and what credentials to use. I assume you'd go create those credentials somewhere else. It looks like there's some advanced settings there too you can do right from Service Operations Workspace. So that's the 3 screenshots for that one from ServiceNow Innovation Lab. There is one more, and I think this is one of those helper apps. This is the Launchpad UI. Pretty much repeats the same thing and doesn't have any screenshots associated with it. So I assume if you get one, you're going to get both of these. Just remember that they're from the Innovation Lab, which is doing cool stuff. It's just sometimes that stuff is not supported, so you're not able to kind of open a ticket with high support. All right, next on our list is going to be the highlights for the week. We've got 19 of them, so this shouldn't take us too long. Absolute Connector from Absolute Software Corp, updated to version 1.0.05. This patch fixes a bug. Now, it did fix this elsewhere, but pay attention here, which was preventing the unfreeze REST message from working. It is resolved in this release by updating the unfreeze HTTP method from a post to a put. I included this because the methods to freeze, as you can see them down here, freeze and unfreeze and enroll were released in that last release or last patch. And if you're able to freeze something, I'm sure you want to unfreeze it. And I was like, well, that's pretty important. Talking about endpoint devices or end user devices. So I felt like that deserved a highlight, even though it was a fix. Next up is Adobe Acrobat Sign from Adobe Systems, and this is going to be a long one. It says it's a minor release, but everybody, there's a lot in here, and I checked to make sure this wasn't just a regurgitation of the previous release, and it wasn't. So let's get to it. Added password support, added clickjacking defense, updated merge fields, added support for electronic seals, fixed some issues whether the compose URL only works once, where disconnecting with an invalid token does not delete the active connection, updated ACL so senders can no longer edit fields for in-progress agreements, fixed a minor layout bug. For security reasons, on-premise installations are not supported and will not be able to connect, updated the agreement creation to prevent an empty file infos object. Several improvements made to the send for signature widget. Library templates that don't belong to a group are deactivated during library refresh. Document field records are automatically created after fillable document template is created. Added an agreement option, copy to subject. Updated system property descriptions and default values, and added several new control properties. Several minor improvements to forms and lists. Several security improvements. Several internal script API updates. I don't know what you think, everybody, but this isn't a minor release, Adobe team. You knocked it out of the park. Look at all those updates to the app for March 10th, version 2.2.17. Thank you, Adobe, for the excellent release notes on the Adobe Acrobat Sign application. Next up is going to be Amaze by Intellective, version 2.0.7. Extension points. Amaze Builder is now extendable for customer-specific use cases. I don't think I should say specify. They're just trying to get me to trip up on these words without needing product releases. Fixes a builder overlay for tab forms and a watermark persistence for Canvas. Is the updates for Amaze by Intellective in version 2.0.7. Aruba ClearPass integration had an update to version 2.0.1, provides an update on filtering of MAC addresses of endpoints that are synced to include check on operational status and or install status. It is backwards compatible with configuration of previous versions. Next is going to be Automate Pro, updated to version 7.0.0. And in this one, on the platform level, updated the navigation menu, enhanced the customer callback error message, and enhanced the form builder and support ServiceNow's Utah release. Auto Plan, introduction of demand management, enhanced agile management, enhanced product management. Auto Dev, introduction of a Dev Studio, introduction of Object Explorer and App Analyzer. Auto Test, enhanced Lua capabilities, general usability improvements, Auto Deploy, introduction of auto deployments, Deployment Job Wizard, conflict resolution handling, monitoring deployments, and Auto Monitor, enhanced the Monitor Console, and an introduction of custom graphs, introduction of result overrides, and enhanced scheduling. For more details, go look at their KB article. Once again, everybody, well, this actually says major release, so good release notes, and this is a major release from the Automate Pro Limited team on Automate Pro. Faster platform upgrades with intelligent automated testing. Up next, Beneva Software Bill of Materials, or as we like to say, SBOM. Added SBOM workspace. Beneva SBOM allows you to ingest SBOM files. Beneva SBOM allows you to ingest vulnerability. Hope we're not repeating anything here. We are repeating stuff from before. Let's see. So what's new in this one is the added SBOM workspace. I won't repeat everything, but in this release for March 8th, they added the SBOM workspace. Everything else is just a repeat of version 1.1.0. Glad I caught that before I wasted my breath on all of it. But thank you, Beneva Software Bill of Materials, or BVA Soft, for that updated application. Next is going to be Sensinet Workflow Connector, version 1.1.1. Add support for system UI form views. Quick and easy on that one. Event Management Connectors is our next one, and this is a ServiceNow app to version 2.5.14. Notice it's Innovation Lab, and I believe, so it's changing versions, but I believe this is related to that ITOM and the Service Operations Workspace. Event Management Connectors, so anyways, that updated version 2.5.14, but technically the release notes failed because there's not much there, but I kind of assumed it was part of those other products, and you're just going to get pulled in. So if you do that ITOM thing, you're probably getting 3 apps, not 2 apps, this being the 3rd app in that list. All right, let's go to the next one, ISM Monitoring, version 1.1.2, and this is another Innovation Lab. Prevent uninstall and updated with baseline version 2.1 configuration. So this is a big deal. So if you install this Innovation Lab app that does not have support, you will not be able to uninstall it. And this is assessing and monitoring security baseline based on the NIST standard. So once again, word of caution on these Innovation Lab apps. They're cool. They have some cool stuff, but you can see now they're preventing uninstallation. So you will not be able to take it off your instance. Next up is the ITSM Success Dashboard Indicators from ServiceNow. New KPIs, productivity moments, productivity in search, productivity in routing, productivity in fulfillment. New modules added to help Success Dashboard admins navigate to critical KPIs and configuration tables. Some UI changes, filters, and data aggregation moved from tabs to dashboard level, and KPI trends shown along with scores for all the KPIs in the dashboard. So that's new for that one. Up next is going to be My Assets Validation to version 1.1.2. They have added the following features: fixing asset validation reset, asset validation kickoff, preview kickoff email notification, and asset validation kickoff. Looks like add pictures to kickoff email, and was removed from UI 16 and available in the portal. Minor UI edits also in version 1.1.2, and there goes version 1.1 release notes after that. So that's new for My Assets Validation. Next is going to be My IT Footprint to version 1.3.1. Now compatible with the Utah release. And there's a new widget, My Impact V2, allows users to see their impact breakdown. And yeah, that would have been a lot simpler to say. So version 1.3.2 from My IT Footprint. Hey, look at that. That's interesting. 1.3.1. Sorry, not 1.3.2. Man, I totally messed that one up. Okay, next, Serenity Inspection. Version 5.4.2 patch release. Corrected issue that prevented use of the action type field from inspection console. Corrected an issue that allowed selection of inactive templates from the inspection console. Corrected issue that prevented certain inspections from appearing. I think that means a peppering. Man, people are messing with me. Appearing, I think is what that's supposed to say. Removed an establishment filter from inspection console that prevented non-establishment inspections from appearing. So that's what's new from Serenity Inspection on 5.4.2. Next is from Logic Monitor, the Service Graph Connector for Logic Monitor in version 2.0.17, migrated navigation items for the Service Graph Connector as per ServiceNow guidelines. So it looks like ServiceNow asked them to update this, and you may want to go check out that update for that Service Graph Connector. Next is from Sumo Logic, the Sumo Logic integration for security incident response. In this release, version 1.2.1, insights linked to incidents are now tagged with ServiceNow incident linked on Sumo Logic, and added the following columns to the Sumo Logic insights table: confidence, timestamp, time to detection, seconds, time to response, seconds. So that's new in version 1.2.1 from Sumo Logic. Next is going to be Tanium, vulnerability response integration. Lots of security stuff. In this version, looks like they've submitted it back in January 2023, but it didn't get approved until March 8th of 2023. Completed changes to allow vulnerability filtering, requires Tanium API gateway, and requires Tanium comply module. Let's just make sure that wasn't in the previous one. Yeah, so that is what's new in this one for version 1.2.1. We got some more here from Tenable, 3 more from Tenable, and we're almost done. This is Tenable for Assets, version 5, Service Graph Certification, additional OTCI classes added, and repaired an issue where OTCIs were not importing to the correct class. Let's see what else from Tenable. This is Tenable.ot for vulnerability response, also version 5. Ensure your organization has already installed and released the ServiceNow Tenable integration product prior to installing this release in a production environment. All right, people, pay attention to these warnings. They removed the ability to add new .sc jobs, new .io jobs, and automatic deletion of any existing .sc or .io vulnerability response jobs. So looks like an important update there for Tenable.ot for vulnerability response. Last is going to be the Tenable connector that got updated to version 5. Look at that version parity. Deprecated the ability to use Tenable VR with the .io and .sc Tenable products. All right, guys, that looks like a big deal. Let's make sure that wasn't a previous update. Yeah, it wasn't. So major changes. They're deprecating some capabilities that were previously there. Be careful if you update. You may lose some functionality if you were doing this. Maybe you weren't supposed to do it in the first place. I don't know. I don't know Tenable that well, but that is the updates for ServiceNow Store Highlights version 03172023. We didn't have to change anything, so let's take a look one more time. 40 applications in this episode, 5 new releases, 19 new highlights, 2 compatibility updates, 8 fixes, and 6 release notes fails. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, please like, please subscribe, or share with somebody who you think might be interested in what's new, what got updated, and what changed in the ServiceNow Store. And until next time, don't forget to always be learning.